Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. This is a Lina game actually, but there's a couple things I wanted to focus on. I know I just made a Lina game like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I had a good Lina game last night, and it ended up being a Trilane versus Trilane situation. This almost never happens in pubs, and it almost never happens in any of the games that I play. So I really wanted to go over some of the Trilane aspects. That way, if it ever happens to you guys, you can get some basics down and just kind of figure out how to perform correctly when you do Trilane versus Trilane. So I've made a Trilane how to Trilane video before. It's pretty old, must be like about a year or more, maybe a year and a half old now. I think that was the first video I ever put a thumbnail on, so that should give you some reference points. If you've always seen me using thumbnails, it's way before that. So I'll probably hop in and out of the timestamps. I'll probably pause, rewind, things like that a couple times. So it won't exactly be as normal of a video here, but like I said, I probably told you guys enough about playing Lina in the past, and I just want to focus on the Trilane instead. So the people I was playing with, I think this is just me and DK duo queuing, I think it's called. Playing against a bunch of randoms. This game felt kind of weird actually. It felt like we were put in a much lower skill level game than what we normally match at, even when we're just playing with each other. So for some reason, things were a little bit lower skill level, but luckily a lot of the players knew who I was, and they were very open to instruction, which makes it a lot more fun to play with lower level people, because then they just taught them how to Trilane a little bit and told them where to put wards and like when to stun and things like that, and it all worked out pretty nice. But there was a lot of vocal direction that I had this game. Unfortunately, I didn't record it live, so you won't be able to hear that, but I can kind of paraphrase a lot of things. So it should be pretty good. We can also talk about the lane matchups as well. That's another thing that's pretty important. This game actually had pretty legitimate picks on both sides. Our draft is pretty darn solid. We have the only downside is we don't really have a good setup stun in our Trilane. Our Trilane was a Lina, Jakiro anti-mage with a mid Kunkka and an offlane Darkseer, which is pretty predictable lanes. So they had a Juggernaut, Rubik, Nyx Assassin, and then a Centaur with a Queen of Pain. I think I'm going to actually start off in free camera. I'll hop over to player perspective eventually, but a couple things to look at. First of all, their lanes that they ended up doing, we weren't necessarily expecting these, but they did a safe Juggernaut on the top lane, and then they did a Centaur, Rubik, and Nyx Assassin aggressive Trilane. So their goal here, or at least what the lanes end up matching up against, was a Darkseer versus a Juggernaut, and then the mid was going to be a Kunkka with a Queen of Pain, and then the aggressive Trilane was a Centaur Nyx Rubik, like I said. So this Trilane is actually fairly scary. The downside is it only has one ranged, so it's slightly weaker in terms of harass, but about the same as what we're working with, because we have a Lina with a Jakiro and an anti-mage. So we also have pretty low range. Jakiro's not a full range hero, he's at 400 range. It's better than a melee, but it's still not that much better than a melee. So one cool thing about Lina is she actually attacks for 635 now, so she has a huge range at one of the highest base ranges, if not the highest base range in the game. So it's kind of a nice little benefit for her. It looks like the lanes are like there's a Juggernaut. I think they just took some time to shift over. But if we talk about how the game as a whole, a Darkseer matching up, this is not enough regen by the way, but a Darkseer matching up versus a Juggernaut is not a very good time for the Juggernaut. Despite him having, what, Blade Fury or whatever, if there's a double Iron Shell, he could Blade Fury the wave and he'd only take creep damage, but I don't think it's worth it for him to do this. Darkseer should be able to win that matchup. I think the only matchup that's actually okay against Darkseer on their hero is if they would do either Rubik or Queen of Pain, most likely Queen of Pain. And then they could have put, like, for example, they could have put Jug mid, they could have put Centaur mid or something, and then put the other one in the Trilane. So I think that would have been better. Yeah, I think definitely doing Centaur is very good against anti-mage in the early Trilane, but I think they needed to have a better matchup for the Darkseer, so he's going to start off with some good EXP. I don't know why they had so many heroes mid. It seems like their lanes weren't quite planned out, but Centaur is going to shift towards the bot lane, and they'll start an aggressive Trilane. So a couple things that we started off. I warded very early, so I put one Observer Ward here, and I put one Observer Ward here, which is going to spot out the rune spot, very important. I wasn't necessarily expecting the aggressive Trilane, but I was pretty happy that I put the Observer Ward down because it did end up revealing that pretty fast. When I missed my first stun here, I figured it was time to go for a kill because they didn't have very many people in lane, so we might as well bully them out basically, but I ended up missing it unfortunately, and that's one of the problems with having a non-setupable stun. It's not quite a term, but makes things a little harder. We knew that Centaur had shifted back over because we did have an observer ward spot that, so I just told the anti-mage to make sure that he was aware that there was the Centaur pretty much sitting right here at all times because we couldn't actually see this. If we take a look at my vision, yeah, you can't actually see this from our perspective. So the if we just pause quick and talk about what each Trilane has for benefits and advantages. The setup for them is always going to be Rubik's Lift. Rubik will lift, Centaur will stun, and then Nyx will follow up stun. Or Rubik can lift, Nyx can stun, and then Centaur can stun. Nyx could also start things off, but Rubik is a bit more likely because his range is pretty solid. The range should be about here, and it's an instant cast, and he can also throw them into whatever else is going to happen. So his initiation is the thing that's going to be most scary. Once Centaur gets some levels, he's going to be somewhat harder to kill because he has a really good strength gain. I don't know what it is exactly. It won't show when we're paused, unfortunately, but these are basically all the heroes are a threat except for Centaur, unless he's in melee range, then he's also a little scary. So we have to be pretty careful about the Centaur. Our weak points are Lina and Jakiro. Even Anti-Mage can be in a bit of trouble, but if he skill builds correctly, he's going to be just fine. And if you are against this Trilane, by the way, this is a lot of magic damage, especially from Centaur. Once he grabs Double Edge, he's pretty much all magic burst. You should have at least one level of spell shield because it's almost equivalent to a hood. 1 point, skill point gives you about a hood worth of resistance. And against pretty much any early magic dealing Trilane, you should always grab at least one of these. At least one. So usually you would go like maybe Blink, Break, Spell Shield. You can get stats, or you can max Blink, or you can max Mana Break. Kind of depends on what you want to do. So yeah, our entry point is going to be on either Nyx Assassin or Rubik. Disabling Chain Stunning in either one of these would be really good because number one, first of all, they're the squishiest heroes, but they have the lowest armor, I believe. Yeah, they're slightly squishier than Centaur at the moment, and they will, as the game goes on, be much more squishier. So if we can initiate on either one of these heroes, it'll be really good for us. So let's go hop back to player perspective now that we talked about that. One slight mistake that we have, since we did put wards here as well as here, in the future, if I knew that I was getting aggressively tri-laned on, I maybe would have adjusted my ward to be somewhere over here instead of this lane. This spot is pretty good for spotting out to see what the lanes are. I maybe placed this a little bit too far to the left, by the way. I should have placed it like right here so I could get a little more vision here, but I think it's important that you are able to see your opponents in the jungle over here, especially if you eventually end up pulling. Then it's very important because you need to be able to see them if they're coming to contest the pull, for example. They've also placed their observer wards in the jungle. This is the magic bush spot, as you can see, this little bush right here. So this ward will block both this camp and this camp. This ward's going to spot out the jungle for them, and we'll spot the rune spot just barely. The downside is we actually put the sentries on the top lane with Darkseer because we thought that the tri-lane would be top, but they ended up going aggressive, so we didn't have sentries, so we couldn't actually de-ward any of this. But if we did, I would have said put a sentry ward like right here, and this can barely catch this ward, I believe. And then this is also a very common ward spot, so there's a good chance we would have de-warded at least one of those. So let us resume. Oh yeah, in terms of our mid matchup, a Queen of Pain versus a Kunkka, this is actually, it's pretty good for Kunkka, or for Queen of Pain, excuse me. But DK is a really good player, so we'll see. I think his ice paths there were a little presumptuous. We kind of need to go on them when they're going for a CS or something like that. In the meantime, I'm kind of just focusing all my efforts on harassing the opponents, whether I put right clicks onto the support heroes. Right here, Nyx is slightly out of position. I was able to land my stun on him. Ice Path is a little late here. Fortunately, missed my stun. But we were able to get the kill on the Centaur. He stayed a little bit too long. I should have just stunned. I was thinking about it. I almost stunned, but then I burned it. Man, he took so much tower damage. Alright, I'm gonna back that up. I want to look at that team fight again. Okay, so let's go 10 more seconds and then we'll press play for a little bit. We can talk about the mistakes that were made here. It's really important to look at tri-lane mistakes, by the way, because mistakes are basically the way that you lose your tri-lane. Our tri-lane is honestly pretty evenly matched, and if it goes one way or the other, it can completely change the game. If we look at the scope of the game again, we have a Darkseer versus a Juggernaut, which is really good for Darkseer. Darkseer should have an advantage here, especially because he has an EXP advantage because the Juggernaut got to lane fast. The mid lane is a Queen of Pain versus a Kunkka. This should be a semi-even matchup, but I'm sure DK is going to win it because he's probably a better player than this guy, because DK is really good. And then the game kind of comes down to the Trilane. So basically, because they're losing the top lane, or they're going to lose the top lane, they're likely to lose the mid lane because DK is better, but other than that, it should match up about even. They need to win this Trilane. Like, they really need to win the Trilane. And to win a Trilane, you cannot make any positional errors. This is the first error that was made. I don't know if this tree is actually here, or if it's a bug or not, but this position is not very good for Nyx Assassin. There's no reason to run off to the right. First of all, we saw him go there. And we still have decent enough offense where things could get really crappy. Plus, he's one of the heroes that they really don't want to get initiated on first. If he gets chain stunned, he's very unlikely to land a strong impale, and then they're going to be behind a stun. And they're also lacking a lot of damage at level 1 as well, because Rubik actually isn't very good damaging Trilane here, with the exception that he's ranged, and the fact that telekinesis can be very good positionally. But basically, Rubik does pretty much no nuke damage at all. Telekinesis actually does 0 damage, so they're a bit limited for now. So if we look at things very slowly, with Nyx Assassin deciding to come back this way, I saw the opportunity. I started moving forward because I knew Nyx was over there, so I can either pressure him or I can try to throw a stun. And then I end up landing a stun on him. And from there we can start right-clicking. Jakiro should have stunned immediately, which he didn't do. And he also tried to lead off, which was a mistake. He should have just gone for the land as soon as the stun was about to end. So he's going to run right and whatever. Speed this up slightly. I need to select my hero. Alright, and at this point I definitely should have landed a stun on the Centaur. That was a mistake. If we could have landed the stun on the Centaur, we could have just blown him up right there. And then once I knew the Centaur was going to die, I just threw the Dragon Save. I should have stunned right here. I was thinking about it, I knew he'd be juking through here, but I just didn't do it. And that's too bad. I should have just trusted myself, because I also canceled my animation there because I was expecting him to juke, but I ended up getting the anti-mage killed as a result of this, so slight mistake from me. I also bought a Flying Courier here before I ended up dying. And there's a Fade Bolt. Don't quite have enough mana, so everything is going to end up okay. So we ended up getting 2 kills going on. I got 1 kill, 1 assist. The anti-mage ended up getting 1 kill, 1 death, 1 assist, and the Jakiro got 2 assists. So they lost 2 heroes, one of which was their Centaur, and the other of which was their Nyx Assassin. So overall, we are doing well. And we got the first blood, I believe. Yeah, anti-mage got the first blood. So despite him dying, not the worst thing in the world. It's kind of unfortunate because all the EXP went to the supports instead, but this actually helped us snowball a bit in the mid game anyway. So from here, if you're doing a Trilane versus Trilane situation, I greatly recommend a Magic Stick, because you're likely to run out of mana no matter what. If I actually knew I was going to be in a Tri versus Tri situation, I maybe would have brought 2 Clarity Potions instead of an Ironwood Branch. I wasn't expecting to be this high in mana, or this in need of mana, more importantly. So I ended up buying a Flying Courier, because our team needed that, and I got a kill, and I bought a Magic Stick. Because it's very unlikely that I'm going to get to 450 gold anytime soon. I'm much better off buying a Magic Stick, and then as the Trilane continues and more people cast spells, I'll get some free mana and some free regen. In a Trilane versus Trilane setup, it's almost always worth it to spend your early 200 gold on a Magic Stick. Especially when the Trilanes are very even. At this point I don't really know what my allies are backing, but we can't actually pull. We could actually pull because the creeps ended up spawning, but it is blocked. So I just ended up putting a bunch more hits into the tower because I could do some tower damage since we had creeps up there. I think I also inadvertently got a little experience from this as well. Some Linas like to grab an early Fiery Soul at about 3 because as you cast 2 spells, you can end up doing a lot of right clicks, like 2 or 3 more right clicks, which ends up kind of equalizing the damage you would do with the Slave. Alright, let's talk about that little engagement really quick here. I hope you guys are okay with me pausing this constantly because I think it's pretty important. Alright, first mistake. Anti-Mage is being lifted by the Rubik. Centaur is going to get in position for a stun. This is a solid setup from them. I think it's okay for the Rubik to go into this with the Centaur. The problem is that Nyx is all the way over here. And the problem with Nyx being all the way over here is he's accomplishing absolutely nothing by doing this. He's not going to like get behind us and stun. The best thing he could maybe do by doing this is sneak over here into the jungle and go through here and then initiate. But they don't really need to do that. Because honestly, if they just sit here and contest the anti-mage with this threat, then he's not getting last hits and he's at threat from dying. Or at threat of dying, basically. So there's no reason for the Nyx to be over here unless he's expecting a gank maybe or like looking for vision or doing something. His positioning should be like right here. So put like the Centaur up to CS, put the Rubik in a place where he can harass, and a Nyx Assassin needs to be in a position where he can always stun. And this is pretty much exactly what we're doing. in our positioning. My positioning is a little bit too far back, but I did recently get a clarity potion, so I wanted to make sure that this didn't get denied. And the Jakiro is in a similar position right next to it. He should have dual breath, by the way, not ice path. And in fact, I think he should have two dual breath and one ice path. I think is the best build for an aggressive Trilane. If we can talk about that very briefly, the stun duration and the damage scale pretty crappy for ice path between each level, and dual breath actually does respectable damage. It does, I think, 10 damage over 4 seconds, which is 40. So it does 110 damage dual breath in an AoE, which is pretty darn good. And the release is really fast now. So one ice path dual breath, two dual breath I think is the best skill build for a level 3 Jakiro. Grabbing a liquid fire is absolutely not worth it. It does 50 damage for free, but really, really not worth it. Okay, so let's slow this down a bit and look at this gank, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go free camera because this is kind of annoying when it changes my camera. Alright, so they lift him, they throw him in the Centaur does the stomp, and immediately we counter-initiate. So the first mistake that we make is we both stun in panic. I should have communicated with the Jakiro and said, like, okay, if they go in, you're going to throw the first stun, and then I'll do the second stun. But regardless, we ended up throwing the stuns. They were thrown at the correct time, and we're able to do a bunch of nuke damage, mostly going on the Centaur. And it's always important to do it on the Centaur, because if we don't nuke the Centaur, he's going to throw a 250 damage double edge, and that could get Anti-Mage very, very close to dying. If they had actually been here, next Assassin surely could have thrown a stun and stunned Anti-Mage for another second, and maybe the Centaur could have done the double edge anyways. In fact, if he was actually here, and if he actually threw the stun on Anti-Mage, and we stun stack just like this, it's very likely that they just would have killed the Anti-Mage with the double edge. So our stun stack is a mistake that maybe another team who had better positioning than us, if they had better positioning than us, they would have profited here and they would have got an anti-mage kill probably. So it's like Trilanes are honestly just a game of very slight mistakes. If whoever makes more mistakes is usually going to lose, basically. And we would have lost in this situation right here, which could have lost us the entire game if the Nyx had good positioning. For example, like maybe it would have snowballed in their favor, for example. It's very, very small stuff to lose Trilance. And then there we go. He blinks away. We're going to be fine. Centaur takes a bunch of damage. Nyx is now going to show up and he's going to throw a stun on the Jakiro. And Jakiro is very unlikely to die here because they've already burned all their mana. So it's going to be just fine. I'm just going to do some zoning and right clicks, and that's the end of the fight. So everything works out. Nobody dies for us. That's okay. We actually do a bunch of damage to the Centaur. They don't have very much regen left over, although the Nyx came with a ton of regen, so they'll probably be okay. But again, I'm just going to harass them a couple times and do some damage. So everything's going good, basically. Anti-Mage is going to heal back up. He's got a poor man's shield. Again, his skill build is really greedy. He should have at least one spell shield, because that could reduce, like, at least 100 points of damage over the course of his whole survivability. So he's going to mana burn me, which is a pretty good choice here. It drains me down to nothing. But again, I have a 5 charge on my magic stick, which gives me a total of 30, 60, 75 mana. So this will give me enough for one nuke of my choice, which most likely will be Light Strike Array. If we're trying to just kill somebody, I'll use the Draken Slave. So we did see the Queen of Pain coming to gank with a haste, so we ended up backing up for a very small moment of time. And now we can kind of look for opportunities to go aggressive. If we took a look at mana levels, Nyx Assassin is very low. He only has enough for one nuke. And Rubik has enough for only one nuke as well, or one disable. So he's a bit limited. Basically, at this point, we have an offensive advantage, in my opinion. Jakiro's full mana because he's never gotten dual breath. He just has liquid fire. And I'm a bit low on mana, but it's looking okay for us. Oh, sorry, I'll speed this up in just a second. Okay. Alright, let's go back to regular speed. Oops, that's 2 times. So at this point, what should they do? Nyx Assassin should again not be standing over here. There's, again, no reason for him to stand over here. He's not going to accomplish anything, and he's going to be at least a second or two late to the fight. Centaur is now healed enough, so what they should do now is maybe contest another kill, or contest his farm at least. Centaur should continue getting last hits. Rubik should continue harassing, which he's doing a good job of, but there's a poor man's shield on Anti-Mage. This becomes difficult. So things are a little weird for them. Alright, so what Rubik ends up doing, I don't remember this part, but just speed up a little bit. Every time somebody makes a decision, I'll probably just... Alright, so right now, Rubik is going for a lift on me. He sees me. I have very, very little mana, but we still have Jakiro. And again, our positioning is pretty darn good. We're all in a position where we can cover each other if anybody gets jumped on. One other point that I just want to make really quick. We could be going to pull if we really wanted to, but if we went to pull and stack and pull, Anti-Mage would be a little unprotected in his Trilane, and he might get killed. We could, even if this is dewarded, for example, by pulling we could deny a lot of experience from them. But it's a little safer in some ways to just sit in the lane and not make mistakes and kill their heroes. So you might be, it's something I didn't cover yet, you might be wondering why we didn't just go pull, but it's a little safer, like I said. Just sit in the lane, make sure the anti-mage continues to get farm, and you can worry about pulling later, basically. So, okay. So, he lifts me up here. This isn't really that great. Again, Nyx's Assassin is in the middle of nowhere, so every time a fight starts, he starts running from all the way over here. The centaur will be able to maybe stun me. We'll see if he lands it. I don't remember if he does or not. But even if he does, I'm pretty sure we'll see an ice path. I actually barely got out of the stun, it looks like, and anti-mage gets nailed by it instead. So see, so there's the ice path. Ice path is going to hit 2 heroes. I can follow up with this by popping my magic wand. And bam, I hit only 1 hero. I should have caught both of that. Slight misplay by me. And again, we do some good damage to the centaur. This is going to burn the rest of Nyx's mana. Anti-mage takes very little damage. He actually goes aggressive, which is crazy. Okay, he does blink out. Just a weird misclick. Alright, and the fight's over again. So, things that were lost. I threw both of my nukes, so I have no more mana. Centaur again takes a ton of damage. Nyx's Assassin is even more out of mana. Rubik is even more out of mana. And we take a bit more damage. But like, again, they keep wasting their mana by not having effective kills. Like, if you're not getting kills and you're spending all this mana, it's just putting you behind in a place where your Trilane isn't going to be able to get kills. Now, something that made our lane slightly harder is that the Centaur was able to finish his Tranquil Boots, so this means that he has pretty much unlimited regen if he wants it. So that will hurt us a bit. Anti-Mage is still level 3 and he has no HP, so they definitely are in a position where they can still take an advantage towards us. I ended up grabbing another level of Light Striker right here, rather than going Fiery Soul, just because I wanted more nuke damage. Despite not having very much mana. I am about to get enough for a nuke, because I have 1 magic stick charge here, which will give me about 15. Will give me 15, and then I'll have enough for a stun. So, something to keep in mind. Since Anti-Mage isn't full HP just yet, I'm going to be last hitting for now. At least on the last hits where I think he won't be able to have it. He's got a level of return now, so if I do harass him, I will take some damage. These are all important things to consider. So let's take a look at last hits right now. Darkseer's actually not doing that great. He's got 23, the Juggernaut's sitting at 24. What the Darkseer should have been doing, by the way, from level 1 is he should have cut creeps. He should have gone over here and just pulled the creep wave to him and just Iron Shelled them all down. And then that would force the Juggernaut to last under tower. He'd probably be semi-successful because he has a Quelling Blade, but he doesn't have a Stout Shield, which means he probably would have taken a lot of damage early. Darkseer should be beating him in last hits. This is actually, Juggernaut is doing okay here, so... despite this, they're not doing bad. And mid lane's actually very equal with DK at 30 CS and 27 CS on Queen of Pain, so he's apparently doing very well. So that's just a little update on the other lane. So basically the entire game is going to come down to the Trilane, because the other 2 lanes are completely equal. So. Anti-Mage picks up level 4. He definitely should have a spell shield at this point.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Jakiro should go Dual Breath now. I think we were worried about maybe the Queen of Pain here, but she's actually mid. So this is one of the problems. It's going to be nighttime again. This means we have no wards. We don't know where Queen of Pain is unless she's sitting in lane. What are those? I don't know what that was. Oh, that was the Blades of Attack for Kunkka, I believe. I've almost got enough mana to do a combo again. So basically we're ready to go. I think this is the point where I said... just land a stun, and we can get a kill. But they're actually going to initiate, and they're again throwing into the Centaur, so let's see what happens. I don't remember all these team fights, so we're just going to go really slow. They throw into the Centaur, that's really good. They land the stun. This actually looks really bad. If he lands a stun, and the Centaur gets off the double edge, we're surely going to die. He's already casting his Ice Path. I'm also casting my stun. And I think we ended up doing it again. Although this time I ended up landing the stun. Okay, yep, just the... so they did actually get the kill this time. So this is what they should have been doing since the start of the game, basically. Rubik lift and a Centaur stun with the Impale from Nyx's Assassin. But the mistakes were that the Nyx's Assassin was in the jungle twice over by himself, so this basically he was constantly out of position. So we're able to do some right clicks. I don't think we're going to get a kill. We did a lot of damage to these guys, but it's not going to be enough. So slight mistake from us. I guess what we should have done, perhaps, I think we did stun the... We did stun the Centaur, but we stun stacked. So this is a perfect example of what should have been happening before. If we make the mistake of stun stacking, then the Centaur will, after the first stun ends, he'll be able to get his double edge off while the Anti-Mage is stunned from the Nyx's Assassin stun. So our mistake has finally come through, basically. So we'll go back to 1 times. I got my boots now. That's what I bought on the courier. I had the Jakiro purchase wards, or I think our Darkseer actually bought them, which was a mistake from Darkseer. He shouldn't have purchased those, I don't think. Should have had one of our support heroes do it. But I already bought Flying Courier, so I felt justified to buy the boots, so. It'll be a while till they get places. Well, since Darkseer bought them, they didn't automatically transfer, and I was confused about this. So he went to go check the creeps, I think, and I saw the pull was available. Although I think we have a lift. They ended up lifting a catapult, which is pretty convenient.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's pretty good. He got a last hit with return.
Under attack.
Do not know where the Queen of Pain is. Oh, she just respawned or something. Oh, he must have killed her.
Missing top.
He stomped hoping for the anti-mage. It's not going to work though. So I pick up level 5 now. That gives me 3 levels of Dragon Slave. My nuke damage is just about 400 right now. Yeah, pretty good. It's quite a bit of damage. I told Jakiro to place 1 in the side jungle here and 1 on the rune ward. So he'll go do that quick. Apparently, I don't know why they had nobody in the lane. I think Rubik maybe went back to heal, so they were scared about contesting the lane or something. I'm not quite sure. Wow, they actually smoked for this. He spotted them out, but they were scared to go on. Really important that you blow up the Queen of Pain if possible. Let's take a look at that one as well. So, if we go to free camera. So they are smoking in. First mistake they made. Centaur should not be in the front. They should have Rubik in front. Because they spotted the Jakiro right here and they couldn't immediately initiate on him. And they should have been able to. Centaur knew that he can't go in, so he gets revealed and he's like, oh crap, that should have been... Like, they should have Rubik in front 100%. If they had Rubik in front, they would have killed Jakiro right here, and then they could have just pushed the lane probably. But they didn't. He spots a lot of heroes, he's going to start running, and this is going to at least allow him to stun the Queen of Pain. Although the Centaur is still going to blow him up. I was almost able to slave the Queen of Pain, but I was not able to. I don't think he gets this kill. Yeah, he's going to have to run probably. I ended up being able to Dragon Slave 3 actually, that was really good. Really useful. To worry slightly about the Centaur here blowing me up. We do still have a ward over here though, which is really useful. And we also had a TP, who is this, Darkseer? He surged me, because he TP'd in saying like, let's fight, but it was way past that point, I think. So, it was a nice play by them. The smoke gank was worth it. They should have been able to kill the Jakiro a bit easier, but it didn't produce any kills for us anyway, so it wasn't that big of a loss.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I saw the Queen of Pain over here because we had a ward. I'm going to drop the stun on him from vision. I should have wanded here and blasted. I don't know if I did or not.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Actually, I lifted anyways. He blinked, stun hits on 2, and he ends up dying. So it all worked out okay. We'll just go regular speed now. And again, I got a Dragon Slave on 2. And that guy's gonna die. And I was able to get the Rubik, so... Alright, so this is basically a warding advantage. We were able to initiate on their mid hero and blow him up pretty hard. And the rest of us didn't get killed from it. I just want to look at the positioning of their whole team as that started as well. Okay, this is not true. All these trees are actually here. But they should be there, but they're not. Because of bug. These trees are here. So let's see how that the fight started and the position of all their heroes. Alright, so basically what they wanted to do was, they knew Anti-Mage was last hitting. They did not know Darkseer was here, unless they were smart and looked at the fact that there was an Iron Shell and he was probably in the area. I'm absolutely not visible right now. If we take a look at their vision, we can't do this without resuming the game, I think.
Tower is under attack.
Okay, so this reflects the trees. If we look at their vision right now, they knew that Darkseer was here, they knew Anti-Mage was here, they have the Queen of Pain over here, and they have their Rubik as well. What they want to do is swing around and kill the anti-mage, which is probably why they're in position over here. But the problem with this is that we had ward vision advantage. This means that we could actually just collapse all 4 of us over on this section, and then these 2 guys would be out of position because it takes them like 2 seconds to catch up. If it takes them 2 seconds to catch up, it's going to be an unfavorable fight for them. So we decided to start a fight over here because I saw the Queen of Pain. I knew that I could nuke him. I should have wanded here and then Dragon Slaved and just killed him. It definitely took a little bit too much for him to die. So they got here just in time, though. There was the double edge. I'm surprised he didn't stun. That was a little weird. Oh, I think Anti-Mage might have trained him. That's what happened. He's going to TP support. Nicely done by him. So that will be a dead Nyx, and then we're going to lose the Rubik as well, who tried to sacrifice.
Hot enough for you?
So everything went pretty good. And especially that fight was huge, because I think they lost a bunch of heroes. They lost 3 heroes, and we lost nobody at all. This got me another kill, so I was able to pick up my Arcane Boots, and here we're not going to have any mana problems for the rest of the early game. So at this point, I think their Trilane was pretty much done. And if we take a look at the overall kills and deaths, I have 2 kills, 0 deaths, 3 assists. Our Kunkka has picked up 2 kills, 1 a solo kill on the mid lane versus Quap, and another one ganking for the Trilane. Their Centaur is 2-1-1, our Jakiro is 1-1-2, and our Anti-Mage doesn't have the best stats at 1, 2, and 3. Slight mistakes for me, got him killed that one time, and the other time was kind of out of our control. I guess both of the deaths were within our control, so still both mistakes. And their Rubik is 0-1-1, which is not very good, and 0-2-1 on the Nyx Assassin, so their Trilane did not go so hot. And this is basically the end of the Trilane as far as I'm aware. So we can go back to regular player perspective. So I hope you guys learned a lot about the Trilane stuff there. It's basically about always being in position. Positioning is extremely important. You need to be in a place where your supports are not vulnerable and where they can contribute without feeding. Your last hitters should usually be up in front because they're usually more survivable. And if they get gone on, your supports need to immediately react. One principle of that I didn't really get to cover in this game is that a lot of the times as somebody initiates on your carry, they'll throw a stun. Me as a support here, I usually need to stun their other support here that also has a stun. I kind of wanted to initiate at this point. I guess there is more Trilane stuff that goes on. I forgot about it. But basically, we're just trying to set up a kill. I think I wanted him to wait for me or something. I can't remember. My position wasn't the best there, actually. If I would have been in lane, we could have maybe just killed him. I'm actually not selecting my hero for some reason. I'm also level 6, by the way, which is really scary for them. They should be really worried about this. I have another 4. I basically have doubled my magic damage output. Yep. Alright, yep. I've more than doubled my magic output by going from level 5 to level 6. So at this point, we have tons of kill potential. All we need to do is stun one guy and he dies. Guaranteed. Our Anti-Mage is going to get lifted. I should have thrown a stun there, but I cancel it. I don't know why. I thought I was going to. It looked like I clicked for a stun, but I think I canceled it. We were a bit out of position there, in my opinion. Because Anti-Mage got gone on. He should have died, I think. So, at this point, he just needs to stun one person and we got to kill. So I was kind of relying on the Jakiro to go first. His disable is a lot harder, or a lot easier to land, in my opinion. It's perfect. So, the next assassin was a good person to go on. We'll back up and take a look at that really quick. So it's down by half. Alright, Anti-Mage comes up for last hits. We'll go free camera. I have no idea what this next assassin was doing, but this is not an acceptable place to be as a support hero. The only person that should be in melee range like this should be the Centaur. Obviously, he does have the spiked carapace, so yeah, okay, he's kind of survivable in a way, but it's not okay to be here. Especially, yeah, they were probably talking about going on a kill, but this is not an okay place to initiate on. If you can't toss the Anti-Mage within the Centaur stomp range, which is right here, and if you won't get there immediately, you're not going to be able to get the kill on the Anti-Mage. So this initiation was not proper. They were obviously talking about it because the next assassin came up as well, but you can't just like force something like this. They forced this way too hard, and it resulted in their next assassin being out of place, which meant that I could just blow him up. I knew that he was stunned for a little bit, so I think I stunned first just to guarantee that he was spiked, that he didn't use spiked, and as soon as my stun landed, I knew that I could just blow him up. So my stun landed, I threw my ulti immediately because I want to get his HP really low, and I'm going to slave as well because I want to just make sure that he dies 100%. So as soon as he dies, they lose one of their stuns, they lose a large component of their damage, and now they just have a Centaur as well as a Rubik, which really hurts them. So, like, Trilanes are really hard, guys, seriously. They are really, really hard. You have to be in position, you have to not mess up your abilities. This is such a good Ice Path. Perfect Ice Path here, which lets us dual breath on too. Like, wasn't that beautiful? It was so good. That was a great Ice Path there by the Jakiro. And I was able to follow up on it, and even the anti-mage was 6, so we got the double AoE. It was perfect. Alright, at this point, the Trilane is over for them, 100%. There's no coming back at this point. We've gotten way too many kills. I'm 3-0-5, the Jakiro's 1-1-5, and the anti-mage is now more kills than deaths, so really good. He's got 1,800 gold. He's going to get a late Battle Fury, of course, but we have been quite contested. So, and he's died twice, so not too surprising here. And from now we can pull the wave back. There aren't that many people in the lane. They're kind of crazy to come back in my opinion. I think they should be going off and smoke ganking, maybe trying to get kills on the Kunkka or something like that. But I'm just preparing to pull. My ulti is actually almost off cooldown again. The cooldown's really low at level 1 now, 70 seconds. I saw the anti-mage might be in trouble. He's going to barely blink away. He definitely should have spell shield. That didn't need to be that close. TK was looking for a wraparound, but didn't quite work out. If we look at the GPM as well, our anti-mage is actually 3rd highest now, so he's at 309. So yeah, we're definitely crushing this Trilane now. We got about 100 extra gold per minute on the anti-mage versus the Centaur. They're again trying to initiate. They do have Stampede here. The damage output's actually... Oh, it looks like the burning damage doesn't disable Tranquils. And then we get to initiate. Oh, Centaur's gonna survive. I wanna look at that again, sorry. So if we look at their positioning, Centaur's really trying to force this one. They don't have a damage lead up, I don't believe. Let's slow this down a bit. They also have their next assassin here. He's got plenty of time to use his ulti. Does this fight even start? Oh yeah, that's right, it's Kunkka. Kunkka TP's in, we're gonna fight this. He does an X on the Centaur. Ice Path follow up on him. It was a little early. I'm gonna throw my stun on the Centaur to make sure he's stunned. It's actually a pretty good team fight from them so far. And the Queen of Pain ult is really, really good. If this stun lands on multiple people, this would be really... Okay, that was a really good Nyx stun. That was a really good Nyx stun. Landed on 3, they blink Scream. Jakiro dies. Anti-mage dies. That was honestly very solid from them. That was really good. Pretty much everything they could do there went right. Is that one okay? What did Rubik steal? He's sole Dragon Slave here. Oh, he got blown up. I was kind of hoping for another combo there. I was just trying to slave the next assassin. Yeah, their position was honestly very good in that last fight. They reacted that perfectly. 3 people grouped up. They quap ulted and screamed on 3 of us. The Nyx stun landed on 3 people. It was solid.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, I thought yeah, that's right. I thought I had my ulti there. I could have killed her if I used Arcane Boots or Wand, but I thought I would have enough for the Slave as well as the ulti. I didn't do my math right. In fact, I didn't actually look at the math at all. Really wanted to get the last hit. I barely did, though. So it actually ended up being okay. A support dying for a tower is absolutely worth it, in my opinion.
That was a fail boat. Not so safe harbor, eh?
I definitely should have stunned after the X though, but I didn't really know when it was going to come back, to be honest. So, some slight miscoordination there. Just lost his kills. I should have killed the Quap 100% though. Definitely should have killed the Quap. If I would have either wanted or Arcane Booted, we would have gotten the kill. I thought a Slave ulti. I know that Slave ulti would have killed. So, slight mistakes for me. Regardless, I have like tons of gold, so I decided to buy wards and a Smoke of Deceit. Finishing a magic wand at this point is always going to be good. If you're really, really underfarmed and you're having a tough time, I'll usually finish a magic wand first, or I'll just use a magic stick until I get my arcane boots. Luckily, I got a bunch of kills though, so finishing arcane boots is not that bad. So I'll get some wards on the map. Might as well put them slightly aggressive because we're doing pretty well. If we're doing well, you might as well take aggressive ward action.
Back so soon?
Yeah, the Jakir didn't really know how to combo with the X correctly, but what DK said is just wait till the X is about to run out and then ice path where the X is. That way when the Quap goes back, she's automatically stunned. Like, she'll immediately get stunned from it. And since I have Arcane Boots, I can farm the jungle decently without losing too much mana, so just do a double combo and then pop Arcane Boots, and then you'll be more or less healed up. Always kill the Quap first if possible. We ended up getting 2 from that. It was really, really nice to have me nearby for that one. I think we just dropped the sentry as well for the Nyx. I was trying to land a stun from the low ground, but I was outside of range. And he ended up using his ulti to escape, which is just fine for us, honestly. So he uses his ulti, he can't use it offensively, and we're going to be fine. So. You guys should also be doing similar actions whenever you see a Quap blink offensively.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I was not able to get my stun off in time, but we still got all the heroes, so that was okay. I should have items queued up as well. I could have gotten the Force Staff recipe. Oh, I actually missed that.
Dire's middle tower
I thought he landed it. I couldn't see because it was dark, but... I think Force Staff's really good against their hero composition as well, by the way, because if anybody gets chain stunned, I can Force Staff them away from Centaur. If somebody's chasing me like Centaur, I can Force Staff myself away.
Tower has fallen.
That's so much magic damage. I think he might even have a hood at this point. Yeah, he does. Still takes a lot of damage. That Centaur's died a lot. Yeah, as you guys can see, our GPM is like completely out of control now. So we've gotten quite a few more kills than them. Let's take a look at CS as well. CS is actually fairly even, but they're still pretty far away as a team. Like, we have 2 heroes above their other 2 cores. Like, I'm at about half of what the Centaur is doing, for example. But we've gotten so many more kills that things are not looking good. We do have a much better team fight in the mid game as well. I mean, Lina, Jakiro, and Kunkka together have a lot of... and Darkseer, that has a ton of kill potential. The 4 of us could probably win team fights against all 5 of them while Anti-Mage just farms. Kind of have a bit of a 4 protect 1 strat going. I picked up an invisibility, so I was looking for solo kills right here. I saw the Quap had just blinked here, so I was just going to go set up a kill. And again, not being greedy about my cast at all here. Just always throwing the ulti immediately.
Welcome back.
See, I should have just thrown the stun. I did end up still killing the Rubik, but we could see the Nyx because we just dropped the sentry. Haha. Alright, got 4 staff. I'm gonna go push the lane. And things are more or less over at this point, since we're just kind of snowballing out of control and doing better team fights. But yeah, always throw the ulti on the Quap. If you're able to stun her and you know she's gonna be not moving for a bit, and other teammates are there to throw damage as well, it's oftentimes better just to kill her. Just throw all your nukes. Somebody will kill her. Like, as soon as I know that somebody's in a vulnerable state as Lina, I just throw the ulti and make them more vulnerable. So now that I have 4 staff, I should be able to survive Juggernaut as well. Alright, so this guy was complaining a lot in all chat, and I ended up talking a bunch of stuff about this as well in all chat, just I always hate when people like complain about that stuff, like flame their allies and all chats. Like, keep it to ally chat, man. First of all, honestly, the Darkseer didn't even get that many last hits. I didn't know this until reviewing the replay, but yeah, our last hits right now, he's actually still behind what the Jug has, and he should probably have the most last hits in the whole game, honestly. Maybe not more than Kunkka, because in the mid game Kunkka is going to get out of control, but in the early game, nobody can contest Darkseer, honestly. If he just pulls creeps, if he goes around here at level 1 and just kills all the creeps once he knows that all the supports are in other lanes, like really far away on the other side of the map, he should just be cutting creeps constantly and forcing Jug into a bad spot. Like, contesting Darkseer's farm, like, yeah, this guy is sitting in 3-0 and 6 right now because he's very survivable and he's almost impossible to kill. But Darkseer is not the reason that they lost this game, in my opinion. They lost this game because their Trilane made more mistakes than our Trilane did. Even though we made some mistakes of our own. Mid matchup fared semi-equally, though DK did outlane him and got solo kills, which was pretty important. But, I mean, Jug didn't even do anything with his farm, right? Like, he's 1, 2, and 0. He just finished his Shadow Blade. He tried to kill me that one time, and he did succeed, but he died immediately afterwards. So any safe farm that they got out of Juggernaut was not successful. If anything, I think they maybe should have used the Juggernaut, and then once he hit level 6, maybe do like a Smoke Ink on the Trilane, or maybe something like that. It's kind of hard to say. But don't let this guy convince you that letting the Darkseer free farm was the reason that they lost this game. Like, what I'm basically saying here is that if they would have shifted their supports to go against the DS, then Anti-Mage would have gotten free farm, and then Anti-Mage would have been an issue earlier on in the game, and that might have lost them the game either way. And I said it, they made more mistakes in the Trilanes than we did, even though we did make some mistakes, and they got a couple kills on Anti-Mage. So
Dire's top tower has fallen.
So at this point, it's pretty easy for us to Rax. Even if they did try to fight this, I don't think they would have been able to beat us, honestly. They have some options. I don't know what he's talking about here, honestly. Like, an Orchid is what counters the Anti-Mage, and that counters the Darkseer as well. And they have plenty of hard stuns. Not a ton of hard stuns, but they have plenty of hard stuns. What I was referencing here, I didn't mean that Darkseer is never a good hero. I just meant that... like, it's not like there's been a vacuum wall. Like, vacuum wall is what wins games with Darkseer, basically. And that never really happened this game. No flame at all to this guy. It's just like, it's too early in the game for that to be an issue. So, it was just position errors, basically, that lost in the Trilane, so.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We had the chance or two to get some sort of...
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, he really wasn't doing that much in team fights. He Iron Shelled people with Surge. If you don't even have Vacuum Wall, I don't even think he has Wall yet. He does now because he's level 14, but... Alright.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't think we had sentries down.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Nice mech there. I should use that a little earlier. I definitely was a bit late. Shadow Blade Man, good item. Actually team fighting okay here. Alright, since I had so much gold, I said, dang it, I need to buy a gem. And instead of buying a gem,
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
bought something else. I can't remember what exactly. That's too bad he lived.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Only got one. I thought he was gonna get both.
Straight to the bottom with you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm still dead. I think I bought a Ghost Scepter and not a gem. So I know I didn't buy a gem. But we should have bought a gem. So nobody should be dying at this point.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I should have just dropped my smoke and bought like at least a sentry or something. I have all these survivability items, but they require me to not be stunned to use them. Is the problem. So. There's a sentry. Oh yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Mega kill.
Dire's bottom
I did see the
tower
jug over
has
here, by the way.
fallen.
I saw him poking around.
Dire's middle barracks
So I figured
are
he
under
might be coming
attack.
for me. It's a mistake for me to pop my Ghost Scepter this early, by the way. I should have saved the Ghost Scepter until he was committing to an
Dire's
Omni
middle
Slash.
barracks
So if he
have
Omnis me,
fallen.
I'm likely to die. But I ended up using my Force Staff at the correct time, and this stops him from being able
Dire's
to...
middle tower has fallen.
it stops him
Dire's
from being
bottom
able
tower
to
is under attack.
jump to me. So basically what happens when the Omni Slash looks for new targets... I saw that he was behind me, by the way, so I was asking for him to drop a sentry. I was like, drop a sentry, drop a sentry, drop a sentry.
Dire's middle tower
That's
is
very
under
sad. I
attack.
actually did have my Ghost Scepter there. I thought I did not. I need to recheck that for posterity's sake. Alright, 3, 2... I honestly didn't have my Ghost Scepter. I could have forced, though. So, that was close. I was so sad he didn't drop a sentry, because I knew that I was going to die. They still killed him, but I was like, oh my god. I'm like the most farm support ever, and I'm still dying.
Dire's bottom tower
So that's pretty
is
much the end of the game. I don't think I'll just speed this up now because there's no point waiting. Look at all that right clicking. I TP'd, I'm coming. I
Dire's ancient is under attack.
don't remember if I did anything. Aha, just melt that guy.
Dire's ancient is under attack.
Just wanted to right click him once. It's that Darkster team fight, guys.
Ancient is under attack.
Barely able to stun the Centaur. It was really close. Pipe is legit, guys.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's ancient. Radiant.
Alright. So, those are aspects of a Trilane. Like I said, I know you guys don't get to see Trilane versus Trilane very much, and I don't honestly almost never play it, but positioning is super important. Chain stunning is very important. And if you make more mistakes than your opponents, you're going to end up losing kills or getting killed, and that's going to completely change how the game turns out. So if they would have done better, if they would have started killing some of us or gotten their combos down better and just continuously killed anti-mage, it would have really hurt our late game potential. Luckily, our Kunkka still did well, so it would have required the Queen of Pain to probably outlane him, which wasn't going to happen, but yeah, that's a Trilane. So I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm going to get back to some more suggestions. I definitely do want to do a Meepo SF Pudge every other hero that I never play game soon. I knew I need to do a Bounty Hunter as well. I played a Bounty Hunter game last night that was pretty darn close, but it went really long and I didn't play that effectively as Bounty in my opinion, so I think I might want to do another one of those. So, alright, I think that's it for the video today. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.